Have you ever thought about getting in shape, eating better, training properly, looking after yourself so that you actually feel good on a day-to-day basis? But then something always stops you. You tell yourself it's the hours you're working, or the split shifts, the lack of motivation. And deep down, you convince yourself it's just not realistic. Not for someone working the kind of hours and the job that you do. But that's the worst reason not to start. Because the real risk you should be worried about isn't that you'll try and then fail. It's that in 5 years, you'll still be stuck in that same cycle where you're tired, overworked, and wondering when life is finally going to calm down enough for you to start taking care of yourself. So in this video, I want to show you why that fear around starting doesn't make any sense at all, and why starting right now, not next week, not next month, not when you feel motivated, is the only way to get your time, your energy, and your confidence back. Let's get into it. When most chefs think about fitness, they imagine adding more to an already overloaded plate. More rules to follow, more hours in the gym, more things to worry about. But that logic is actually the wrong way around. You don't get fit and start looking after yourself once you have more time. You have more time once you start looking after yourself more. Because when your energy's better, when your sleep improves, when your head is clearer, everything in your life starts to run smoother. Your shifts feel easier, you recover a lot faster, and you can even handle stress differently. So the real question isn't, do I have time for this? It's how much longer do I want to keep running on empty? Honestly, it's like working with blunt knives. You can still get shit done, you're still getting through service, but everything you do takes twice as long and it leaves you feeling more frustrated. Sharpen the tools and suddenly everything gets easier. That's what training, good nutrition, and better recovery do for your body. But I'll be honest with you, I used to think that way as well. When I was still working in kitchens, I would wake up already tired, I'd survive on caffeine, skip meals, then crash at the end of service and tell myself I'll just figure it out when things calm down a bit. But as you're already aware, things never actually calm down. The role has changed, but the pressure was the same. And I got slower, fatter, and more burned out. Until one day I realized that nothing was going to magically make all of this any easier. No one was coming to give me my energy back on a silver platter. No one was going to do the hard shit for me. You've got to do it yourself. And that realization scared me more than the idea of trying something and then failing ever could. But the real risk, the real thing to be scared of, isn't that you'll try and then mess it up. The real risk is that nothing changes and you just adapt and get used to feeling worse and worse and worse. If you drop a frog into a pot of boiling hot water, it's going to jump straight out. But if you put a frog in a pot of cold water and you heat it up until it's boiling, what happens to the frog? You normalize being exhausted all the time. You accept back pain as just part of the job. You let your confidence quietly fade away. It's easier to do that than doing something uncomfortable. But the truth is, it's all uncomfortable. Being unfit is uncomfortable. Starting from zero is uncomfortable. But one of them gets easier over time, and one of them doesn't. And I remember a few years ago, I bumped into a chef that I used to work with in my first ever full-time job as a chef. We started at the same time in the same kitchen, but when I saw him, he looked about 10 years older, exhausted, hunched over, pretty unhealthy, didn't look great. And I realized that that would have been me if I hadn't got my shit together and if I'd just kept waiting for life to calm down at some magical point in the future. The truth is, once I stopped waiting for motivation to come and save me, and I just started, even by doing tiny little things, that's when everything changed. A 10-minute walk before work instead of scrolling on social media. Or getting up and doing something on my days off instead of just rotting in bed to recover. Or even just one proper meal during a shift instead of snacking all day. It wasn't perfect, but it started working slowly but surely. And what I noticed over time wasn't just the physical changes. I stopped feeling like life was happening to me. And I started feeling like I was in control again. And honestly, that's the real payoff. Not a six-pack or big biceps, but the moment that you realize you're not at the mercy of your work anymore, that you're in control. Because putting effort into looking after yourself, it doesn't drain you. It adds up and it compounds over time and gets better and better and better. Every small thing you do makes it easier to do the next thing and the next thing. And before long, the same things that used to wipe you out now feel effortless. And you can do everything on autopilot. The gym just becomes as much part of your day as brushing your teeth is. I see this every week with my clients. Chefs working 60+ hours a week. Bartenders finishing at 2 a.m. Managers juggling family, rotas, and late night shifts. They're not waiting for a calm period that's never going to come. They're building systems and routines that bend with the chaos. And once you start building that kind of momentum, it snowballs. Every small win you get proves that you can do the same again tomorrow. Here's the main thing I want you to remember. It's never going to be easier than it is right now. Next month will probably be busier. Next year, you're going to be a little bit older. Your body is going to be more tired. So waiting isn't a strategy. Not a very good one anyway. It's a slow decline. But if you start now, even with tiny actions, you can start building some momentum. And this time next year, when you were planning to start anyway, you'll be way further ahead than you ever thought you could be. Because once you get your energy back, everything else comes back with it. It's that saying about planting a tree. The best time was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. So if you're sat there thinking, yeah, that actually sounds like me, and you're tired of waking up every day feeling like you're on the back foot, here's what I want you to know. You don't need a 6-day gym plan. You don't need a 120 ingredient meal prep system. You don't need a 90-day all-in transformation. You just need one thing, a simple structure that fits around hospitality life, not the fantasy version of your rota that you wish you had. And that's what I help chefs build. Not perfection, not discipline porn, just a system that actually works when you're tired, stressed, and 3 tickets deep. So if you want support, accountability, and a plan that bends with your chaos instead of breaking every time life kicks off, there's a link below, book a call, and I'll show you exactly how we build this around your shifts. But if you're not ready for that yet, no worries. Just go watch this video up here. Because once you understand how to get in the gym and what to focus on once you're in there, the whole fitness thing becomes 10 times easier. So go watch that now, and I'll see you there.